What's going on, you guys? Welcome back. So, in the last episode, episode 4, you saw the 454 being removed from the engine, and it ran, it was great, there was nothing wrong with the engine. I just wanted to get rid of that engine and go a little bit more modern, get a little bit more fuel mileage, and of course, get all the benefits of an LS engine. So that 454 was removed, and I sold it off to someone with another Nova, so that engine went to a good home. Now, in episode 3, you saw that I had made over and started up the LS3 engine that's going to be replacing that 454. So in this video, we're going to put all that stuff together and get it into the Nova. And so, getting that engine and transmission combo into the Nova wasn't just slapping it in and it was done. It did take some planning, did take some modifications to the car itself to get that combo to fit. Now, the majority of the work to get that engine combo, the LS3 and the 6L80E, to fit in the Nova lies in working on the transmission tunnel itself. And that's the focus of this video, the transmission tunnel. And of course, I'm also going to be touching on the crossmember that holds the transmission tunnel, because at the time when I was building this car with the LS3 6L80E combination, there wasn't many options for me on how I was going to attach the transmission to the car itself. Cross members for the 6L80E that would fit into the Nova was very limited, to say the least. So let's get straight to the video, show you how I actually got that transmission tunnel situated, modified, and then I'll come back in the video and explain more later on. Okay, so I was playing around with this and I noticed that I had the cross member on incorrectly on the holes. It turns out that the cross member surpasses all of the holes in the subframe except one of them. So it would be the hole that's right here. So the other hole that's on this side, well, I can't get to. So to fix that, I would weld the plate onto the subframe coming down so I can screw on the side of the subframe, the cross member on the side. So it would be 2 screws here and then 1 screw in the original hole. So that'll be three screws holding the cross member to the subframe. So that's solved. And as far as the
the tranny mount, since I now was able to put it in the right place, I raised the tranny all the way up to the top, and I put the tranny mount on there, and it turns out that this crossmember surpasses the tranny mount. So that's good news, because you can see that the crossmember passes it. So that means I would have to take this off, cut it off, and then flip it around and weld it onto the other side, and that would solve my issue. That's not too hard. Of course, cutting this off would be a task, but I can do it. So it turned out to be an easy fix. So I got the idea for the plate to go on the side of the subframe from the crossmember that I had ordered that didn't work. They actually have the same thing. They have a plate coming down with 2 holes. So that's where I get the idea from. So I'll just, use that idea, weld a plate onto here, an L bracket, an L plate, and just drill 2 holes. So I think I can use this crossmember, save me some money.
I want to give a little bit more details so that you kind of understand what I'm getting at when I was explaining what I was explaining while under the car. Okay, basically I have a crossmember from a Turbo Hydromatic 400, and that's what I had on the car. And originally I had purchased another crossmember, and at the time they didn't have a crossmember for the 6L80E for the Nova, so I went and just bought one for the 4L60 transmission in hopes that I can maybe make it work. Turned out that I couldn't make it work. It was completely different, and so I ended up having to send that back. But in light of actually having that in my possession and seeing how it works, it gave me ideas on how to modify my crossmember that I currently have, which was for the TH400. Now, just to give you some information so you understand what I did, I took the crossmember and installed it more towards the rear of the car. So the crossmember originally has 2 holes on either side, and basically I just made it go a little bit further back, just only using one of the holes. And then I took the crossmember flange that holds the transmission, cut it off, flipped it to the other side, and that allowed me to install the transmission mount to the crossmember. So basically, by moving the crossmember, the TH400 crossmember back, towards the back of the car a little bit further, it allowed me to be able to flip that, that flange portion around, and allowed me to put the transmission into position.
of room. Right here, the tranny has a funny extension on the side, but I still got room to put my finger through it. But beyond that, plenty of room. Plenty of room. That's my brace. My 1350.
So the transmission tunnel is all finalized. I glued it, I welded it on, and I used button screws, which was originally the sheet metal screw holes that I had to drill to position the tunnel. But I used button screws to make it nice and clean looking from the outside, even though it's going to be covered with the carpet, but also from the, from the bottom, because the sheet metal screws, they kind of stuck through and I didn't like that look. With the button screws, it's basically a nut and a bolt situation. So I put the bolts on, I cut the excess off, and then with the aluminum tape, I covered up all the screws and painted it with my undercoating and called it done. So it is completely finalized, but we're not done yet. As you saw, I used the Camaro center console and the Camaro shifter to, control that transmission. But there's one other part on the console that I needed to adapt onto the Nova to make it complete, and that is the brake handle, the emergency brake handle. I wanted that emergency brake handle in the center of the console so that when you're looking at the car and you see that center console, it is complete. So in order for me to do that, I needed to go to my donor car and cut out a section of the original Camaro tunnel so that I can properly align the brake handle, the emergency brake handle, onto my tunnel floor. So show you pictures of that so you can kind of get an idea of how I did that. But basically, in a nutshell, I took the Camaro tunnel, cut out what I needed, which was the part that holds the emergency brake handle, basically bolted that to my transmission tunnel in the Nova, and that enabled me to put the emergency brake handle in the proper position, and also allowed me to bolt the center console to my Nova floor using the Camaro's tunnel floor. So hopefully that didn't confuse you, but here's some pictures so that you can see what I did. you guys think? Hit the like button. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. It looks like it belongs with the car. You saw it the last photo. I put the carpet in. I had to obviously cut the carpet to kind of conform to the new shape. But the original carpet that I had purchased long ago and put in the car was reused. So I didn't have to buy a new carpet or anything. Just basically just had to cut it, you know, kind of take my time with it, and made sure that when you put the panels on for the center console, it covered up all the cut, you know, marks that I had to make on the carpet. But it looks absolutely great. And as you probably noticed in the photo as well, we can't put that bench seat that I had in the Nova originally, we can't put that back in. So we had to convert from bench seat to bucket seats. And in a future video, you'll see those bucket seats, and I'll explain the details as far as those brackets that go on the floor, what I had to do, you know, that kind of stuff. That'll be in a future video. You know what to do if you don't want to miss that future video. Hit the subscribe button and don't forget to hit the notification bell so that when I upload that video, you'll be notified. Hope you enjoyed tagging along as I show you the process in which I took to actually create the modifications needed to fit that LS3 6L80 combo into my Nova. And as always, hope you enjoyed. Thank you very much for watching. See you in the next one.